How are you guys? Welcome to Thursday, and want us to a quick reflection, only a minute of what I was expecting yesterday and what happened. So, if you can see, previously I had anticipated a bullish gold, but later on I did change my mind because of what I was seeing, and I chose to go bearish, targeting the previous day's low. But all that later on was changed, and I had taken a sell a position, which if you follow me via Telegram, you will know why I did change my buys and decided to go bearish, and how I did manage this trade. So this trade, from trading view, you can see that I was kind of wrong, but I did manage my trade, ending this trade or closing this trade at break even. I wanted to hold this trade overnight, but my gut and my God told me that it wasn't sitting really well with me, so I needed to close my position. So what did I see? So if we go back to the daily time frame, before maybe we talk about today, what we had seen is yesterday on Tuesday. What we had seen is we had seen the previous day's high being swept, and at that moment in time where I had maybe taken that trade, we had seen this candle create the upper wick, and price was printing below the opening price. So with that below the opening price, with this upper wick that had already been formed, and knowing that we have what could attract the market going lower with the previous day's low, I wanted to maybe drop to the lower time frame to reanalyze and to see what am I really expecting to see if I'm bearish. So what I saw is we had this order block that was formed, these consecutive down close candles that to me was an order block because this candle closed above that. So I wanted to watch how price will react around this area. If I'd seen some lower time frame bullish and bullish arrays being disrespected, as well as bearish arrays being formed, then I will shift in for bearish prices. So we saw this candle open small upper wick and then drop lower. With that, I needed to drop off to the daily 1 hour time frame and look for areas of which I would take a buy position. Remember, I was in buys at first, then later on I shifted my bias to be bearish. So at the time I was watching for a trade, if I have these marked up, these are the sessions. What I'd seen, each session has consolidated and formed relative equal lows with the previous New York session. So what I'd seen is we had swept that low right there. We had swept the Asia and the previous New York session low. Market displaced higher, creating a market structure shift. We've seen price also drop during the London session. I can have that. We've seen during the London session, market drop, filled this fair value gap, displaced higher. As we were displacing higher, disrespecting these bearish fair value gaps, because at that moment in time, I was bullish, and seeing this candle disrespect this bearish fair value gap, I wanted to see a bullish fair value gap being formed, of which I look for a long position going higher. So that's where I did communicate. If I can take you to my Telegram over here, really quick. So this was the trade. I did close it at break even. I never really let it run. So previously, this was what I was anticipating. This is the image of that 1 hour fair value gap. I wanted to see higher prices towards the PDH and the previous week's high. But what happened is, at that moment in time, price didn't do that. I didn't see any rejection of that. Seeing that, and seeing that we had a bearish fair value gap, this bullish fair value gap displaced, I dropped onto the 15-minute time frame to see whether we had bearish fair value gaps being formed, and then tried to look for a short position. So I found we had no fair value gap from the 15. We had a small fair value gap around this moment in time. This was the trade I took at that moment. We consolidated a lot during that time, and as I was seeing the market displays over here with fair value gap, I didn't really want to see fair value gaps being created higher. So I had to move my TP to around at this moment in time. Wasn't really any. I just, instead of moving my SL, right, I just had my TP there so that if the market could just take me out, it's better to take me out at break even other than to lose the 1R. And that was the trade that I took yesterday, and that's how it we managed to close it. To me, everything was good, and even the trade management was good, though I think what I should have done is maybe been patient enough. If that wouldn't have really happened, but I wouldn't really have done anything any much different, because the bullish fair value gap had been disrespected. We've seen that this candle had already closed. This bearish candle had already created a market structure shift being paired with a fair value gap. Then I was more of a bearish, but that didn't work out. The closed at a break even. Good to see. And now let's see what we have as of today. So want to clear everything so that we may start afresh. So we'll clear that trade, previous day's low over there, and that has been met. And as usual, we start from the weekly time frame. Of the weekly time frame, we can see the same scenario that I've been talking about, whereby the market only created the immediate rebalance over here and we rallied higher. The same situation with this. We might see the same even next week, dropping lower. I think next week we have a new month launching. Yeah, so that's possible that we might sweep the previous week's high. Then later on we can see an impulsive candle dropping lower to these fair value gaps that have been creating, so something like that. So we did create the immediate rebalance over here, and then we rallied to see the previous week's high. So the same case scenario, immediate rebalance, and then we pushed. Currently we have the previous week that is yet to be met. So with that, the market has already expanded really fast during the Asia and London session. So what I'm saying is we have this daily fair value gap that currently seems to be respected, and that's what I'm expecting to see the market rally to. Now what I need to identify is the context area. So 4-hour bullish change in state of delivery or bullish market structure shift, also rejection. You can see we had fair value gaps over here. So this thing usually happens a lot, whereby we have a fair value gap, also we have another fair value gap. The market doesn't really rally to the fair value gap, but we create an immediate rebalance and then we displace above. So with that, where is my new context area going higher? So we need either a fair value gap, need to see either a fair value gap, or we can have a 4-hour immediate rebalance, but to me is low probability. To me, low probability to see the market drop to this 4-hour IR immediate rebalance, but low probability is not impossible. It can happen, but the chances of it happening are too low. Now I need to drop further into the lower time frames, and of the lower time frames, what I'm saying is we have this fair value gap over here. We have this 1-hour fair value gap. So the 4-hour candle has 1 hour 2 minutes before it really closes, and this 1 hour has 2 minutes before it closes. Also we have a fair value area overlap with this. Also we have that other 1 hour fair value gap. If I can have this 1 hour FEG, also I can clone that. So to the 4-hour immediate rebalance, we also have this other 1 hour fair value gap. Sure. Nice one. So we have that 1 hour fair value gap. There we go. As well as at the upper fair value gap and the 4-hour IR. So what I will be watching for is how price reacts either to the higher fair value gap or to the fair value gap below that, right? So I will be watching how price reacts to these specific levels right there. So I'm watching for price either to react of this upper fair value gap going higher, no? So something like this, you can have something like this, so that will continue higher to the previous week's high. But also if that doesn't happen, then we might also anticipate price to maybe reacting to these fair value gaps, and then we have maybe something like that. So for gold, that's what I will be really watching for, to see if that actually happens. But also we are trading into those 30 minutes fair value gaps, so somehow we might also see price trading above it, because we are kind of respecting these fair value gaps, and you can see how the market is really closing above that. So somehow I will maybe wait, it's better to miss and maybe try to find maybe another pair that I can trade if gold doesn't really deliver to those context areas. So that's what I will be watching for. Let's see what EU actually has for us. EU, we tapped into that daily fair value gap that we've been talking about. If I can get rid of many charts, many markups. So we swept the previous week's low, and we are currently inside that weekly fair value gap. We stand into that fair value gap. We have, if we are bullish, we can anticipate to see this previous weekly high being taken. And the structure over here is we have seen the previous day's low being swept of the fair value gap. So sometimes we refer to these as two candle rejection, which sometimes works really good for a reversal pattern. So we have this is the PDL sweep. So right, so the PDL sweep, and if the market is indeed bullish, what I can target first is we have this previous day's high. I can target, and also the next target will be the next high, which is maybe that high. So before even the market rallies to the previous week's high, we have these days high and this days high, also these days high that we can target. So these are the first targets we can see the market deliver to before even maybe rallying to the long-term target. So over here we have this candle with 58 minutes before it closes, and what we are seeing is inside that weekly fair value gap we have these liquidity sweeps, right? The liquidity sweeps, which happens to be Monday's low, Tuesday's low, and now we have the Wednesday's low. So on Thursday, on Wednesday, what we saw is price pushing higher, disrespecting this bearish fair value gap. We didn't create any fair value gaps. We haven't really confirmed any market structure shift or order block being formed, because this candle hasn't really closed. If you are bullish, I want to see this candle really close above this last down close candle, because to me it's an order block. Though we have an order block formed also there, want to see how the market reacts around this area, and then if you are bullish, then we can engage with price towards this the first target right there. Again, if we continue going higher, then this is the second target I will be targeting going higher. But for now, nothing has really shown. I want to see this candle close above that level, and then we can't expect to see an immediate rebalance. So a level that I will be watching maybe for a push going higher is this level, the 4-hour IR, since we have no fair value gaps, which is not a good thing. If the market should be bullish, I want to see displacement with fair value gaps. So 4-hour hasn't really presented, so that's a 4-hour IR right there, which is a level I will watch whether we might see price thing into and then go higher. Also 1 hour is showing really nicely. We were bullish, fair value gaps being respected. We are stinging. If we use the fib from the low to the high, we have displaced to discount, and now we did push higher. We have created this order block. So what I want to see is how the market reacts to this level, and also if we form a fair value gap, then this will be my target going higher, and then my second target going higher. So that's what I'm watching for. Either GU, I will be trading either GU or EU. Now is a matter of finding the strongest pair. So I want to see whether we have a fair value gap being formed, and what I can be anticipating is if we form that bullish fair value gap over here, we might see a thing like this. A possible sting into the fair value gap. Then maybe we might rally, so that, or we might consolidate for the next 4-hour candle, so that we confirm maybe the next 4-hour fair value gap, of which we might be pushing higher. So I will be keen, because for the next candle we might consolidate. If we can't create that immediate rebalance and then push higher, then we might consolidate to confirm the bullish fair value gap, then we continue higher. But if we displace below this 4-hour immediate rebalance, then I will be sitting back. I will not be doing anything until I see something really special for me to look for a position. So that's what I will be watching. We have the 30 minutes fair value gaps left open at that moment in time, right there. So nothing really much. Want to see some consolidations, maybe a drop lower. We might feel these fair value gaps left open. If then we displace above the down close candles that will be formed around this area, then I can decide to engage. But for now, I'm leaning more of bullish, but I need to have more confirmations, especially with the 1-hour fair value gaps. So if we compare to GPP also, I had another, I was expecting a short, but that didn't really happen of this level. I said no sign of being bearish of this level. We are displacing above, so I need to find the strongest pair to trade so that I may engage. So with this I can get rid of everything, so that we may start afresh of the weekly time frame. And what we are noticing is we have this weekly fair value gap that for GU hasn't really traded into it. GU hasn't traded into it, yet to be traded into it. But if we consider EU has traded into that fair value gap, and this candle that swept this candle that created the fair value gap has been swept. So we have a lower low, but for GU has formed a higher high. So we haven't really tapped into that fair value gap, and we are kind of creating what we refer to, I know you know. So this is an SMT, which I'm saying over here. We have an SMT being formed, meaning that GU is the strongest pair because we have a higher high, and maybe we are anticipating higher prices. And if we're going higher, then the target for me will be the high of that, which happens to be the previous week's high. Previous week's high. And sometimes I usually want to use, If I have a long wick, I want to be targeting the midpoint, because you can see we have reacted off the midpoint and we are currently dropping lower. So we usually have a nice reaction of the midpoint. So if you are targeting, if you have a long wick and maybe you want to target the previous week's high, usually first target the midpoint. You can see we tapped into that midpoint and we rejected lower, but even that happens, what we are seeing is we can finally anticipate to see the market rally to the previous week's high. Also, what we have here is we have the previous week's low that has been swept, which is a major liquidity pool of which a reversal might happen. So I need to label it where, yeah, all right, should be at the bottom right. So we have the previous week's low sweep, and then how does price react to that level? So we swept this prior candles low, a major liquidity pool. Also, no need to have it marked, but no need to label it. So we'll have that in mind. So we have swept that previous day's low, a major liquidity pool also, and ensure that what we are having here is an SMT with GU, EU, EU that has formed a lower high. And if you are bullish, if you compare the bullishness of EU and GU, you can notice that GU is more bullish. You can see, because it's the one that has formed a higher high. So it's the one that is more strong. And if we want to buy a stronger pair. If we want to sell a weaker pair, right? So yesterday we did drop lower. We have swept the yesterday's low. We are bulking higher, and if the market, maybe the first target we can target, we have these previous days high there, we can target. Then the next liquidity pool will be at this high right there. But also we have that long wick. We might consider the midpoint of that area, but those highs are I guess clean highs. So what we can see around here, we have 40, and this is the structure of GU to EU of the 4-hour time frame. You see GU is forming displacement with fair value gap, also disrespecting bearish fair value gaps, compared to EU that hasn't really formed that. So we have fair value gaps over here that has been formed. We are disrespecting that. So as of the next candle, what I will be watching, I will be trading definitely EU. So we might have, so that this is the IR, possible 4-hour IR, and you can see how GU is kind of clean compared to EU. So GU is cleaner than GU. Also, what we can see is we have this fair value area that was formed over here, price like 1, 2, right? We have this a drop, push higher, a drop lower. We sweep these lows, and if a fair value area is formed, then we want to see the fair value area or the fair value gap do its job. If a fair value area fails to do its job, then we anticipate to see the fair value area high being taken, and that's why today I'm likely expecting to see those highs being taken. Now, is it likely that we may see price deliver to the 4-hour then push higher? Let's find another context area of which price might react to go bullish. So this is the 4-hour IR. Need to have it at the right there. So what we're seeing is for GU, the first target is about to be met, but we have 47. I'll wait for the 47 minutes to be closing, so that we have a 1-hour fair value gap resting below here. And is it likely that we might see price deliver into this small fair value gap, or has already priced delivered into that? Need to check on these. We have a really small fair value gap, possibly we need to see whether the market has traded into it. We have relative equal lows there, the 1 hour fair value gap. But is it likely we might see price deliver to that fair value gap? Let's see the structure of the lower time frame. This should also be visible below. Anything that could attract the market going lower, we have that 30 minutes a fair value gap. Is it likely we might see price deliver to that? Let's see how the 15 minutes did react also. So I think, to me, I'll be watching how the market really, we might be sweeping that high, then later we push lower. So I really don't know. So I'm expecting, if we see fair value gaps that maybe sting and push higher, then we might expect to see buys with the first target, second target, and then the final target being at this level. But for now, I'm really watching to see how price really plays out with the next 4-hour candle opening, and expecting the lower wick. Can we maybe drop to the 1 hour FEG that has been created, and then we displace higher? I don't want to rush in, and I will wait for that to happen. If that doesn't happen, then we'll see how to find another opportunity going higher. So that's what I'm expecting for these 3 pairs. Let's see how price will confirm to us, and will react to whatever will be given appropriately. So that is it. See you in a few, and later. Let's communicate via Telegram. If you have anything, feel free to reach me, and we can talk as we train and trade. So until next time, guys, be safe.